The Congress of the People says it started the process of finding a new Johannesburg speaker.
It's after it terminated Colleen Makhubele's membership yesterday after she allegedly breached the party's constitution. Makhubele was seen on campaign posters for the multi-party South African Rainbow Alliance despite not having got the go-ahead from COPE.
Action SA is already calling for a special sitting to elect Makhubele's replacement.
For more on this, let's bring in political analyst Professor Ntsikelelo Breakfast. A very good evening to you, Professor. Good to have your time. So, who is the loser in this scenario? Is it Colleen Makhubele or COPE?
Yeah, so I think the interesting thing about the issue in question is that when COPE rose to prominence, it was like a house on fire. But I think the first setback was when there was an exodus of members of COPE, and then the second blow was the standoff between the president of COPE and Mbazima Shilowa. But of late also we've seen other members of the party who are prominent also being expelled. But I think this issue that you are referring to, I think is the last straw. So Colleen Makhubele, I think is the former speaker of Johannesburg. And interestingly, she joined the party, I think, in the build-up to the local government election. So she has not been with the party for that long. So I think the charge that has been instituted against her is based on the fact that she might have made the party to join the South African Rainbow Alliance without the knowledge of the party. I think that's the bone of a contention.
It's interesting, though, isn't it? Because during the last few, 2 years, let's say, from around the period of the 2021 local government elections, Colleen Makhubele's profile has grown in leaps and bounds to an extent where, if you look up COPE leaders, she may have had the most media mentions or have commented on the most political developments by virtue of being in the Johannesburg Council. Is she bigger than the party? Because, as we know, COPE's fortunes have dwindled over the years to the point where Musi Walakota is perhaps the only significant name still left in the organization.
Well, I mean, COPE has joined forces with many coalition partners in Johannesburg. But I think the question that begs, or the question that many people are grappling with, is whether the decisions that she took, did she take them on behalf of the party or on behalf of herself? But I think she also has, in the past, has had a good working relationship with the president of the party, who is the one that has instituted the charges against her and also expelled her. But I think the damage is done, in my view, against COPE. I think the damage is done, and what is done cannot be undone. I don't think that the party can ever bounce back. I mean, the image of the party has been dealt with a blow. So it doesn't matter what the party does. I think it doesn't stand a chance even, I'm sorry to say this, next year to get a seat or two.
And if it doesn't get a seat, what then becomes of COPE? Because even in the Joburg Council, they only have one seat, and that was until last night, occupied by Colleen Makhubele, whom, by the way, we've still not heard from directly, a day after her membership was basically terminated.
Well, unfortunately, it looks like it will die a natural death, I mean, because it doesn't have any appeal to the elect. I mean, look at the EFF. The EFF was formed, I think, in 2013 or 2014, but it is the third largest opposition party in the country, and also is posing a serious threat to the ruling party, and also is trying to place the DA as the official opposition. But COPE has been around the block, but it's not doing well because of internal threats.
Mm-hmm. And do you think for Colleen Makhubele then that she will quickly find another political home just based on the name she's managed to build for herself in the last 2 years?
I think so. I think my reading of the situation is that this move to join the South African Rainbow Alliance was well calculated, because she anticipates that the electoral performance of the party would not be good, and therefore she needs to position herself so that when she walks out of the council, she has a political home, and that political career is catered for.
Professor Ntsikelelo Breakfast, good to speak to you.